Okay, hey, Ryan here with hustlesauce.com. I have Tiffany-Ann Botcher.
That's right.
All right, and the business is Eleanor.io. Hopefully, I've got you up on the screen there. You can see that, Tiffany.
Yeah, for sure.
So we were talking, I think what you're doing is pretty unique. And correct me if I don't explain it correctly, but your marketing automation, not your automation specialists, not necessarily marketing, but you focus both on marketing and the back end of a business's systems.
That's
Is that right?
Yes. The operations and how it all ties together efficiently, not just bringing more, leads and volume in, because if you're not automating and optimizing the rest, it really can create a mess pretty quickly.
Yeah. So what would be an example of, let's just pull thanks.io into this, because I think that's how we found each other. Like, what would be a process that you set up for somebody?
Yeah, so we really look at, if you think of the customer journey. So when the customer is coming in, obviously there's going to be some of those marketing automations. And then, that could be customer comes in, responds to something on a social media post, and then comes in and wants to set up some kind of consult. So, going through that booking consult piece in terms of booking the appointment reminders, all of these types of things are automated and going on. Really believe in that nurturing the client. Customer experience is number one. And so that's always a big piece to us.
So you might have somebody set up the booking calendar itself, tie it to like a drip email, tie it to maybe a follow-up thanks card or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
Then as that lead, now it becomes a customer. So there's this transition where, marketing is to bring those people in the door a lot of the times and nurture them through, but now you've got the customer, you've landed them, and you want to make sure that the process of the actual work is also that same feel as the marketing. And so things like, creating a project in your project management tracking system, or if you're a trades company, we'll do things like in some kind of field service management software, so that we're tracking that process through. Then, you've got connecting things like paying the people that you're working, are working on these jobs, and tracking the job profitability. So there's that kind of during the job processes that we like to automate, make sure everything is streamlined. Entrepreneurs, business owners in general, time is the big piece. So making sure that we're optimizing the time using tech where we can. And, then comes back into that thanks piece. The job is now finished. We need to make sure that invoicing is done. The customer gets that thank you card. That's how you get those referrals, good 5-star reviews, those types of things. And then really looking to continue that nurture relationship through automation, keep those people in your circle so that you're top of mind and they're making those referrals to their friends and family.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it sounds like you almost become kind of a consultant for the business owner. And a lot of these smaller shops probably don't even know this stuff is possible, right? They're not coming to you and saying, "Oh, I want to send an automatic customer thank you card." It's not on their mind. Yeah.
It's super interesting because we often get to see, under the hood, if you will, of people's businesses and all sorts of different service-based businesses. And sometimes there is so much time. Someone's like, "Oh, I really wanted to do this," and they only know the manual way to do it. And so a lot of times we see, information being moved manually from place to place, or, just really inefficient ways where you can save hours and hours of time and give that time back to people to do with whatever they want. Our pieces that you can scale your business without losing sleep. But ultimately, you can do whatever you want with that time. Family, personal life, go to the gym, sleep, take on another business opportunity. That's one of, the serial entrepreneur piece is to take on new opportunities and whatnot. But realistically, it's giving that time back.
Yeah, and saving money. I've experienced this, and I'm a marketing automation freak myself, and we don't have to hire people. I mean, it's not a nice thing to say, but we don't usually eliminate jobs, because you can always find something else for a good person to do,
right?
But we eliminate things that people are doing that free them up to make the business more money, basically.
Yeah, it's creating that capacity with the people that you have. It's nobody really wants to spend their day taking information from one place and putting it in another. That's not an enjoyable task to do, and that's why we use automation for that. And instead of those people doing that, they can be doing other things that, grow the business, improve customer experience. It really is just a shift of what they're doing rather than thinking of replacing them. It's a task that's being redirected, really.
So speaking about a little bit about some hustle sauce, I assume that you're probably living in Zapier a lot, or do you use something else for that sort of stuff?
We do use a little. Integromat is a good one as well. They just changed their name to Make. Interesting rebranding. I always wish, because I am a bit of the, business ops nerd and whatnot. I always am like, oh, I wonder what led to that. I'm always curious. So, Pabbly is another one. It's definitely becoming more and more common. And I think that one of the pieces is really just even knowing your options and seeing what is possible with what you have and doing the legwork before you start a new system to see if it's something that has that capacity. Capacity in general is a big conversation for us in terms of, even if you don't need it now, as your business grows, you might need something in the future, and you just want to make sure it's a possibility.
So you help people pick the right software all around.
Absolutely.
And I run into people all the time who they just got a Zapier account or something, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. There's 1,000 different options.
Yes.
And that's where having somebody like yours, having a shop like yours, really comes in handy, because the business owner will go spend a week pulling their hair out for something that you and I could probably set up in about 10 minutes, because we've seen it. We've seen it before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a conversation I actually had with a client just yesterday. It's not allowing yourself to get too far down the rabbit hole. Like, you need to, as a business owner, you need to know what is possible, and knowledge. I mean, I am a lifelong learner. I love knowledge and learning new things, but still sticking to your lane and not getting too far down the rabbit hole and wasting time when realistically someone else could do it so much faster, and you could be, getting up to speed and utilizing the benefit. It's, getting the count is step one, figuring out what you want to set up is step two, but then actually implementing it and realizing the benefits. The sooner you can get to the benefits part, the better.
Yeah. So your business, the addressable market is gigantic, right?
Yes.
Pretty much anybody you talk to could probably use your services who owns a business. What do you guys do to generate demand? What are your main?
We focus on service-based businesses. So before I became an entrepreneur, I was a business partner in a technical trades company, and we grew and grew and grew. And so that, was where my love for the automation and tech started, because in some industries, there's just not enough people to fill all of the spots. And so utilizing and optimizing was so important. And so, as I have made the transition, last April, I made the transition to starting my own business and going out on my own and hiring my own team and doing all of these things. And, all the marketers, you got to niche down. Who are you going to serve? And I said, I serve service-based businesses. And people, no, you got to go more. It's got to be deeper. And I said, ultimately, it makes no difference from my side what someone does when they get there, whether you, wash the windows, or whether you fix the toilet or organize something or none of these, for me, it makes no difference. I am the customer journey. And so if you have a customer, it's 100% relative. And so that's we focus on service-based businesses because that's where my passion and background is. But realistically, we have a number of e-commerce businesses, and we just push back against this whole you must niche down thing.
Right. So in general, when you're trying to attract people, I see you've got a content marketing strategy. It looks like your blog is updated pretty frequently.
Yeah.
What's worked best? Is it the blogging? Is it networking? You're running paid ads?
We do a little of all of it because I really believe that putting, I think if anything, the last couple of years has taught us that putting all of your eggs in one basket can sometimes be a bit of a dangerous strategy. And so there's certain things, like the blog, the content writing, that's the long game strategy. I mean, you're not going to start a blog tomorrow and that's going to be of benefit. This is the long game. And so, I would say we have a podcast, the Service-Based Business Society podcast, and connecting with other, super talented people. I do a solo episode and then an interview episode. And so we alternate. And so I've connected with some incredible people just through doing the podcast. And so that has been really both rewarding and just connecting with other entrepreneurs and whatnot. So
that
there,
the podcast leads to referrals, I assume. Is that I'm just getting started
Absolutely.
here with this Hustle Sauce podcast. I assume that's the benefit.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Love the podcast. And to be honest, so I'm super introverted and did not think I would love the podcasting. I absolutely love it. Had no idea that that would be the outcome. And so it's been super great. I think, if you need leads tomorrow, it's always going to be paid traffic, to be honest, because that's how you're going to get in front of the most people. And so, when people say, oh, I'm getting started and I have a Facebook page and whatnot, it's, if you only have a few people on there, that's the number of eyes that are getting on your business. And so using Google to your advantage, thinking of Google as a team member, treating them as such, making sure that you're giving Google the right content to get your business out there. All of these are pieces. And from there, the strategy is really business dependent.
Yep. So just getting a little tactical here. It looks like your stack. It looks like you've got a WordPress site here or not. This looks.
It is not. That is, we use Drop-in Blog, actually.
Drop-in Blog. All right. I've never looked at that one. It's very clean. It feels different than WordPress. But I assume those WordPress that everybody uses. What's this pop-up here? Is that like a third party or is that Drop-in Blog?
Nope, that's Drop-in Blog. It takes us to the Facebook community that we have. And then all of our forms and automations and whatnot are all done in Eleanor. So, that's the connection there. And so whether someone is going through the process in terms of, reaching out over Instagram or Google My Business messages or the contact form, all of this funnels into one spot. So instead of having to, go into Instagram and respond there, and then go over to Facebook and respond to other people, it's bringing all of those people to a singular spot. And it just makes it so much easier.
So this is, you mean Drop-in Blog or the Facebook group? Is this?
So we use Drop-in Blog. It's attached to our Eleanor site. And okay. And so then we go from there, and so Drop-in Blog does the blog posts, but the rest of the website and whatnot is all Eleanor based.
And then you use the Facebook group. Sorry to pry, but I like getting in the nitty gritty of like what the stack is, So you use the Facebook group to kind of, I guess, incubate people and build more trust, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to get somebody to click the join now. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll sign up. Do you use like a question flow to pre-screen people, or do you just kind of let everybody in? I'll find out.
Yeah, we do. So there's really the discussion of kind of where you are in your business. Lots of people have, an idea. They're the entrepreneurs who have a great idea. And from there, it's, the action takers. There's all different people. And so for us, those people who really want to take action and dive in are really our core group. And so, deciding on people on the way in, deciding, do you have a business idea? Is this in the next year, you might start a business, or do you have a business and you're actively looking to innovate and save time? So we also then have the email list and whatnot. So overall, it all works together. It's interesting because we have agency clients who, we obviously use Eleanor for it, but we have lots of people who use Eleanor that don't necessarily want a full service business management solution from the agency. So and the community becomes just a mix of both, and overall a great place, great people.
So back to service-based business. I know a lot of real estate agents, it's kind of service-based.
Yeah.
What's your bread and butter? Chiros? I asked you for coaches. Service sounds broad.
It does. I would say we have a number of professional organizers. That seems to, and interesting enough, was one of the first people that one of the first clients on the agency side that we got when I first started. And just, someone shares a name and passes along and whatnot. We have a number of photographers, and fire suppression company seems to be something I knew from the past. So when we were digging into automations there, I could offer a lot of knowledge and insight into those types of things. So it is a little bit of a mixed bag, but you know what? Great people is the key piece there. And all people who are really, eager and ready to take those next steps.
Cool. Yeah, this is intriguing to me because marketing automation as a thing, there are thousands of people who call themselves marketing automation consultants, but I don't think
Yes.
I've ever met would you call it an operations automation
Hmm.
consultant. You've got a new category here.
I know,
Maybe.
which makes it a bit challenging because people say, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, it's that age-old elevator pitch question."
Yeah.
But realistically, my background is originally in accounting, and so when I started my undergrad in university, I was going to do management accounting, and so of course life evolves and whatnot. But it really always comes back to that data piece and operational efficiency, and so that's the part that is our unique piece is being able to really build things around telling you the story. I always say entrepreneurs need the appropriate information to make the right choices, and otherwise it's very well, I think this is the right thing to do, or the back and forth and overthinking things, because it really is just kind of a, well, I think this option is better. But we always are trying to build in a way that provides the information and the data so that it's backing you up and saying, yeah, this is the right thing to do because this option is more profitable, or this option saves more time. And so that's kind of the deep piece of our background and motivation.
Cool. Yeah, and yeah, I see on the site you do get pretty specific here. There's some core integrations that you help people set up, and the monthly is kind of just that seems very affordable. To have somebody on your team who could take all of this off your plate, $297 a month is like, okay, and I'm sure you don't get a lot of resistance on price.
No. No, because when you break down, and that's part of, we go through the process and the demo of what are some of these things that are holding you up. I was speaking to a lawyer recently, and we were talking about it, and she said, if I don't have to do these things, I could see at least another client a day. Like, if you actually just look at what is the opportunity of that wasted time. And so it was a no-brainer. It was like, of course. I mean, the decision paid for itself over and over again.
Do you manage the integrations and people can just call you when they need something, or that's pretty much how it works? It's kind of like on demand.
Yeah. So we have our agency team, which was original before we launched Eleanor. And so, we either take things on an ongoing basis. We have lots of clients that it's ongoing service, or we take things on a project basis. Someone says, hey, I want to get this set up. Often we see, people have run their current system right to capacity. Now it's busy season, and it's like, oh my goodness, things are not working. And they don't have time to fiddle and fuss around. So they say, I need it to do everything that the original system did, but I need to move it over here. And so, our team is really good at saying, okay, what was set up previously? Okay, let's do that, make sure that it's doing all of that, and then say, okay, these are the options and things that we can add on to save the time and offer that increased capacity.
Awesome. Well, we have a lot of Thanks.io users watching this, so I'm going to plug you a little hard here. And I'm going to say anybody who's trying to figure out how to integrate our postcards, letters, and note cards into your current stack. Our team helps with the cards itself, to some extent, but if you need somebody who can put it all together into the bigger picture, this seems very cool, guys. Eleanor.io, right?
Yes.
And Tiffany. So you can see everything on the screen that Tiffany-Ann does. Tiffany, anything else? Any questions for me or about Thanks?
Yeah, Thanks has been super interesting in these because we're super general. I love these pieces that are more focused and where you can go really all in. And so when you're looking, where is Thanks going in the next, couple of years? What's the plan? What's on the plan?
Yeah, we're trying to, one of the big things is we're trying to build off the shelf marketing automation flows that leverage our system. Specifically, we're going deep into bribes. So I think this might be something you're interested in, bribing the appointment. So if you show up, you get this gift card, but setting that up in a way so that somebody like you isn't necessarily needed to set up like 1,000 different pieces, but also, of course, our funnels are going to need to interface with some other parts that we don't build. So
right. Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, that's where we're going. So yeah, let's stay in touch. Definitely, again, it's Eleanor.io, guys. If you're watching or listening to this and you need I'm going to just call it a new category. I'm going to call it operations automation. If you need an operations automation stop at a very affordable monthly rate, Tiffany-Ann and her crew seem like a good place to go.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, Tiffany.
Thank you so much.